Hello, everybody. Can you hear us loud and clear? It's Sunday evening at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock where Mark is. And we're going to be doing an hour here again on one of our impromptu. I think this is number 7 we've done now. With me is my mate, my fellow Yorkshireman from Huddersfield, Mark Bayerski. Although it doesn't sound like his name doesn't sound like it's from Yorkshire.
The alien. I'm an alien, pal. I was never really Yorkshire.
Illegal alien, man. Legal alien.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
Great stuff. I've got my fennel tea today. I just went out for a walk, actually. I haven't been out for ages because I'm unsociable bastard. So I just went for a walk, sat down at Yazim's cafe, and he said, "Do you want a tea, Mark?" I says, "Go on, I'll have a tea." And he made me a Moroccan tea without sugar. Yeah. And I sat there and just watched everybody walk by, and I haven't done that for ages, to be honest, pal. And it was a nice, refreshing change to be out.
Yeah. Going back to fennel, I love fennel. Fennel's one of my favourite. It's one of my favourite herbs, plants, whatever you want to call it, on everything. Fennel seeds, I just love it. I used to love fennel licorice when I was a kid.
So good for the stomach as well.
Yeah,
so good for the stomach.
When we were on the farm, we used to give the horses molasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Beautiful smell. Beautiful smell. That were great for the respiratory system and stuff like that.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. It's amazing how the healers of the days, especially what I learned from my teachers, they said that, they used to watch the animals.
Yes.
And what they ate for whenever they were needed for whatever it was. And that they watched the animals, and that's fascinating. And if you ever watch a doggy, I mean, I have a doggy, and every morning she'll go outside and she'll sit directly in the sunlight for 15 minutes, and then she'll come in. She will have to go and sit in the sunlight. You know what? They're trying to shut the sunlight
Have you told her it's
off.
bad for her? She needs some sun cream on factor 50.
When you realize that we've been lied about everything, it becomes very much like when you walk into the supermarket the first time, when you realize that everything in that supermarket isn't food. There's nothing worse feeling. No. There's not a worse feeling than that.
As I said to Chris the other day, you might as well eat the cardboard boxes and tins to get more nutrients.
Right. That is so true. Yeah. You're probably less poisoned as well.
Well, we were having a conversation about this on our last podcast, actually. My local post office, or the local post office in our area, it's not my post office. It's a fantastic shop. You go in and it smells like one of them old shops that you used to go into in the 70s, 80s, it smelled the boiled ham and cheeses and bacon and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's got a sandwich shop there. They've got all the fresh bread and stuff like that. But I looked around and I thought, what a lovely, all the people in here are nice people. But everything they're selling, from the milk to the Dettol, to the whatever, is poisonous.
Poison. and people just don't realise. And
it's a sad state of affairs.
I saw the sign. Somebody sent me a sign, and it basically says that the age of humans is over. The age of AI workforce is here, and it's like, and people they'll embrace it to the point where they go, "Oh, I've just been told I've lost my job." Like, didn't you see it coming? And most people don't see it coming.
It's the old Yuri Bezmenov thing, isn't it? You could, they're that brainwashed. You could lead them up to the concentration camp, and they won't believe you that it's a concentration camp till you lock the door.
Yeah, because I think David Icke always said, and I respect this. He always said, just because you wouldn't do it, it doesn't mean that there's people out there that wouldn't. There's people out there every day that would do anything. And there's something in the spirit of humanity, good spirit in humanity, that believes in one another. We've been convinced that every single human being is God's human being, and that is the greatest trick the devil ever played. And when we come to a point in this world and we realize that we are not all the same inside, there are dark spirits inside these bodies in people, and they're the ones normally at the ultimate top of the food chain of energy feeders. They're politicians, they're the ones that are basically controlling the world. When you realize that, things start to change, Dom. People start to then realize, but it's very hard.
It's a hard thing.
It's a hard thing to make people understand that we don't want to say that this world is bad. We don't want to say that the world is run by evil monsters. We just don't say it. Everything's good. I'm looking around. Everything's fine.
So what do you do? Not say it and then just ignore it all? You can't. I'm not one of them people who can actually do that. I've got to come up with some kind of solutions, which brings me nicely, a nice segue into what I'm going to be doing. We've obviously got the Sheep Farm podcast. I'm going to be starting up. You'll notice the title of this, Feel Good Factors or Feel Good Factor. I'm going to be starting a new podcast up after the summer, probably September time, called Feel Good Factor. Which I might run it on this channel, but I've got to be careful what we actually say, obviously. So I'll probably run it on Health Bunker's channel for a while, and also we've just set up private video on our website. So on Health Bunker it'll be private video. So I better put it on there. And talk about stuff maybe we'll sort of discuss tonight a little bit, even if it's my products or the clinic or your products, or have guests on talking about their stuff, or I'll be going into what certain herbs and supplements can do for people and what diets I run to start feeling a little bit better. The personal journey, I'm not saying it works for everybody, it's a personal journey that. And other things. So I think it's something that's close to my heart, so I need to do it. Timing seems to be right. Anyway. Fantastic. So I'm going to be starting another podcast that'll be probably released every Sunday. We talk about a lot of dark things, as we've just been saying, Mark, and I think you've got to come up with some practical solutions as well as all this dark stuff, because it leads you down a hole where there's no hope or whatever you want to call it. But there are things you can do to mitigate certain things. Now, we were talking just before we came on. And the downside with healing, it takes a lot of effort. And it takes a lot of commitment. It's not just money, it's a mindset as well. The biggest one is free, which is mindset. If you can't change your mindset, then you'll struggle to get well. Don't mean say you can't get well, because everyone's different. Somebody could do some meditation and get rid of every sort of symptom they've ever had. It's just some people are just fortunate that way. Most people can't do it that way. So it does take a lot of effort from a dietary, from a mindset. But the biggest thing is mindset, and that is free to change. Yeah, stopping eating sugar is free. Stopping eating gluten is free. Stopping eating things that are bad for you is free. You don't have to pay for that. There's no financial obligation.
There is an argument to that, though, that some people just don't have the money to be able to not eat, white bread because they can't afford sourdough. They can't afford organic fruit and veg, so they have to go for the appeal because it's cheaper. So, no matter what you say, Dom, no matter how we try to help, there's always going to be a counter argument for every single opinion and experience that we've been through. That's the issue.
That is the issue, but that's where the effort comes in. Because, for instance, when I was ill, I went down to a very basic diet for about a year, 2 years. And I mean, very low amount of different foods. I found foods that didn't affect me. And I utilised those foods, and they just happened to be very small food groups as well. And you've got to sort. It's like you're training to be in the Olympics, right? To be a professional sports person, but you never actually get there. Yeah. And so, if you've got to give up bread for the rest of your life, or eating midget gems and 10 curly whirlies a day, then so be it. That's it.
Can I ask you a question, Dom?
Yes, mate.
When you were younger, like 17, 18, 19, 20, when you had a cup of tea or coffee, did you get a teaspoonful of sugar and put it in? 1, 2, 3?
I generally had 1.
2.5?
Generally had 1. I was never a sweet tooth in tea and coffee. But yeah, I ate too much sugar when I was younger.
Exactly. That's exactly why I've come to the understanding that the body basically starts to deteriorate with sugar, and the body is strong, so it will heal you. It will be, your body will heal itself, but over time, sugar will eventually corrode the whole of the body and then cause illness, and that's what happened to me. I had 3 sugars in my tea.
Yeah, sugar.
I had tons of sugar as a kid. I was forced it because we were told it was good. It were like, do you remember Frosties? I mean, I couldn't put in. There was
I couldn't put enough in, mate. I couldn't
there
put
was
enough
so
in.
much sugar in there that at the end of the milk there was like
Sugar
sand
milk.
at the bottom
Yeah,
of water,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
you just drink it all down.
yeah.
Nobody told
Nice,
us.
wasn't it?
Nobody mentioned anything that, hey, by the way, this stuff is not good for you.
No.
But then again, well, it's not my doctor, it's a friend here. Every morning we used to sit together, and Frank, and he used to have his coffee and he'd put his 2 sweeteners in. And I used to say to him, Frank, them sweeteners aren't good, pal.
No.
I mean, have you ever done any studying? And he'd just laugh. He'd just laugh at me and said, just stop. So what are you going to do?
You can't. And that's what I'm saying. Only if you, it's a dedication, not an obsession to, but at the start it's a dedication, and after it becomes normal life, it isn't a dedication anymore. Yeah, but like tonight, I generally green juice about 4 or 5 o'clock or something like that on a night time. Nick, my wife, drinks a green juice in the morning. I tend to have it as a smoothie with an avocado in it on an evening, and so we do it differently. But I make them both at night, and I do it every night. It's like normal now to do that on a night time.
Right. I've changed on the 26th of last month. I decided to go on a new diet, and that diet was to fully heal my stomach, my gut. So I went on a strict diet and followed it to the T. And now my stomach is like brand new. Literally, my stomach is like brand new. No suffering at all. And I'm sticking with that regime for as long as I need to do. And I'm happy to do that. But the point I'm trying to make in this particular instance is that my stomach was never flat, because as you get older, sometimes you put a bit of stomach, and it's always difficult to get it down. What I found now, my stomach this is actually my normal. Before it was like here, right? So it's gone down like 75%. And the reason why is because I stop eating at 2 o'clock. And I don't eat again till the next morning, which could be 9 or 10 o'clock. So I have my meal round about 2 o'clock, and then that's it. I'll drink, but I won't eat anything thereafter. So if anybody wants to know how to get rid of a stomach, guys, and it's really simple. The reason why that is because our system works best at round about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock. Our body system breaks down all the food so that you're not carrying all that weight at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and your body's not functioning. So it's just going to store it. That's why you have a big belly all the time.
Yeah. What I would say as well is that you've got to find your own sort of thing that works for you, because like we were saying at the beginning, everything comes to people differently at different times, and everybody's body works differently. When I was ill, my functioning, the body functioning, works a lot different than it does today. And I'm not saying I'm fully better now, but I certainly 80, 90 times better than I were 10 years ago. And so what will cause me problems then doesn't cause me problems now, if you get my drift. Yeah. And some things that I didn't think worked then actually work better now. I
think when your body is in chaos, you can put as much vitamins and minerals into it, but you first have to heal the body. Once you've healed the body, then minerals and vitamins really start to work, because your body's healed. But if your body is in chaos, nothing really works properly. Yeah. And actually, you can make it work even worse.
So by adding stuff to it. For instance, certain things with, say, magnesium, which is obviously an essential nutrient. If you've got gut problems, magnesium can cause all sorts of gut problems. Now, again, I'll use a theory. I don't know where everybody is with the germ versus terrain theory, but let's just take that off the table at the moment. Eating magnesium, the consensus is that it causes bacteria. Is a nutrition for bacteria, even whether it's good bacteria for you or if you think it's bad bacteria. I'm not even interested in that part, but it's a nutrient for everything in your body. Yeah. And when you're feeling when your guts are all over the place, not functioning correctly, it can bloat you. Can magnesium. My wife had a real problem. She was a thin little thing. She used to bloat like a little football. And so, and it was magnesium. We got it down to magnesium. So she had to stop having magnesium. She could have magnesium baths, magnesium foot spas, for instance. These are the little nuances that, but now she can eat as much magnesium as she wants.
Exactly my point. So the thing is, what state your body is in, nobody really knows. Only you'll know. So what you have to do is start from scratch. So what you do is you get a pen and paper, you keep it with you, and as soon as you eat something, you write down what you've eaten, and then see how you feel. How is your stomach blown up? Do you feel any different? And then you break it down to cut one of those things out, and then see, and then you become Sherlock Holmes.
I'll use this comment as an example, Mark.
Yeah.
This Mary Lou, hi Mary Lou. She's been on an egg fast diet. Now, I'll use my wife as an example. Eggs used to destroy her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So everyone, what I'm trying to say is, for Mary Lou, it works, right?
Exactly.
For someone else, and the reason why it didn't work for my wife is because there's a lot of sulfur in eggs, hence that eggy smell. And the sulfur creates a major problem when you've got detoxification pathways that are blocked. Your MTHFR gene is not functioning correctly. You can't detox right. And goose eggs didn't bother me, but other sulfur products used to. But that's a great example.
Matchboxes, terrible.
Yeah, matchboxes. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I'm going to be discussing stuff like that. I'm probably going into detail, like I do my research on sheep farm. Show you the research I've done for this type of stuff as well, and the reason why I got here in the first place. Before I crack on, let me show you that picture. I just want to show people a picture of what ozone does to the blood. I'll just take us off here. You still better hear me, Mark. Hang on a minute. Right, camera. I just want to show people what ozone does to the blood. So as you're looking at that, on the left-hand side, the dark red blood is blood that's coming out of me, and it goes into a bottle. You'll follow the tube, and there's a receptacle bottle up there. We call it an egg, and it goes into the egg, and then it gets infused with ozone. And you'll see the lighter blood on the left-hand side, and that is ozonated blood going back in. And I've just got a short video here, I'll show you, and it switches over that quick. It's like you've pressed a button. We're quite fascinating. It's not quite, I've had bloody loads of these treatments, but it was fascinating to watch. This were on Friday, by the way. And the reason I'm saying that is because, let me put us back on here. There we go. The reason I'm playing that is because my wife had a treatment on Friday, and she's been cleaning the house since.
She hasn't stopped all night.
Everything that you put off in your life, what I noticed when I have a 10-pass therapy is that everything you put off, you start doing a couple of days later, and you don't know you're doing it. It's just like the things that you should have been doing. It's a bit like having a deep meditation or what have you. And that's really what happens when you get yourself into a state where your body's functioning a lot better.
Yeah.
So that's where I want to start discussing anyway, on the feel good factor, and start maybe showing you how you can build your own little home clinic as well at home, so you don't have to rely on people.
I'd also say as well, guys, that whatever treatment you do, if you go to Dom's place, just like when we work with crystals, some people are going to feel the difference instantly. And some people, it can take a while because what's going on in their body is some kind of resistance and an issue, and they're not feeling any different. But in time, if you go long enough, all of a sudden, okay, I'm feeling better now. So don't ever give up on things. A lot of times people give up on working with crystals, and then, I think if you just stayed with it, go with it, and then eventually they'll say, wow, I feel the energy in this crystal now. And I'll go, yeah, because something's happened, something's changed in you. So try not to give up too quick on health and on your health.
It's difficult, and I understand it's difficult as well. There are a lot of hurdles on health, whether it's time, distance to where you can have the treatments, cost. You know, they're the three main hurdles for and commitment as well. And well, all three of them affect commitment. Even one of them affect commitment as well.
Practice makes commitment.
Yeah, it does, but I also understand that a lot of the treatments out there that you've got to do cost money. So you've got to have stuff that are practical at home as well that can hopefully make a difference. And so there is, you know, not everybody can go and have a 10-pass therapy. I mean, I didn't notice a major difference till I had 10. If you go to London and
exactly.
You're spending thousands, but that were 10 plus 5 years of proper hardcore detoxing as well, Mark. You know, and living right before I even had a treatment.
There's a friend of mine here. He works in London, comes back, and he's always on the computer, and he has issues with his hands. He always has done since 2008. He said, real bad problems, pain here, and I sent him some.
Is it carpal tunnel?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I sent him some Blend of the Heel, and I told him to use it, and it was so good because he said to me, you know, I haven't noticed any difference here yet. He says, but I had a bad back and I rubbed it on my back and I could feel the difference straight away. Yeah. And I said, well, you know why that is? I said, your back just all of a sudden pulled, and it's something that's just happened. Whereas this has taken years for it to manifest.
Materialize.
Which means that this is going to take time to heal, whereas your back can heal instantly with this oil. So what you're doing is you're putting it on every day. You don't stop using it. And eventually you'll go, wow, it's not as painful anymore. And then don't stop using it. Keep going. Now I don't have any pain. Well, don't stop using it. Because
I'll tell you a funny story.
The problem is, the reason why I'm saying this is because most people have been programmed to go to a doctor and the doctor says, take these for 7 days.
Yes.
And you are wanting something to heal you in 7 days, but there is no healing. It's a lie.
Yes.
All that is just giving you a Band-Aid. You're not curing the root cause. So what Dom's doing is curing the root cause of everything he uses. What I use is trying to cure the root cause. You ask a doctor, do you cure root causes? They'll look at you as if you're a plonker. They'll say, what you're talking about. No, well, I'm not interested. So just remember that.
My father-in-law's he had this upper respiratory thing where it sounded really bad, like he was wheezing, couldn't get a breath, but he could. It was just how it sounded. It was worse than it sounded. He'd been to doctors. He'd even been for a chest x-ray, done all these stuff. And I said, look, you need some lung wart. So I got him some lung wart from my mate. We're probably going to start selling it, actually, but we were interested. So I tried. I said, look, he said, well, what is it? And it was in a tincture. So I tried it. I showed him how to use it. Anyway, we went on holiday a couple of weeks ago, and driving down in the car, he said, oh yeah, I'm just going to tell you, me wheezing stopped.
Brilliant.
I said, how long have you been taking it? He said, 10 days he's been taking it, right? I said, have you brought it with you on holiday? He said, oh no, I didn't bring it with me on holiday. I
should have done.
I said, why? He said, well, I didn't want to use it all up. I might not get any more. I said,
no, that's fair enough.
Tight bastard.
But the point.
You got it for no.
Most people, when the situation is eased off, most people stop, and that's the mistake.
And I think that's what he did, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you just keep going. Why? It's gone. No. You're going to the root cause. You're healing the root cause, so it never comes back again.
Yeah. My daughter's boyfriend, he would. About 6 months ago, we were drunk, and he jumped over one of them bollards like you do when you're daft 20-year-old, smashed his knee on it. Went to doctors, you know what they're like, give him an x-ray. They told him we were going to have an operation on his knee. So I said bring him round here. I got my red light. I've got they're called, anybody want to look them up, they're called 4 lasers, right? So it's there's laser units and red light. So I did some lasering on his knee and his leg, because obviously you've got to clear from the lymphatic side of it as well. And then I did some red light on his leg. So he came in on crutches, right? Literally. He couldn't walk down the stairs. He walked out. He walked out from here, where I am here now. I did it here. And he walked up the stairs, right? And he slept over, yeah? And I said, how's your knee? He said, it's all right.
Wow.
So, right, I've done
Wow.
that. I've done that 3 times. But these are young people. These are young people. Young people heal quicker than older people.
Yes.
So I give him some vitamin C, magnesium, all the stuff that he needs for healing. Yeah. Went back to doctors and they asked him. They said you don't need the operation now.
Wow. That's amazing, Dom. These are miracles. You know.
I don't know about that, but a guy across the road here, his son were playing football and knackered his ankle. Came, lasered his ankle because he had a big final the day after. He came there. He were on crutch. He had one crutch actually, and he was in a big bandage. I said, "Get the bandage off. Let blood flow. Let it get it cleared out." And so I lasered it, and he were another one. Anyway, it's.
So this laser treatment, how does it work, Dom?
How's a laser treatment work? Let me pull Thor's website up. Let me share the screen on what they do. It's called photomodulation. Let's see if I can share this with everybody. I'd open that then. Yeah, basically, there's like 3 different handheld units that I use. Where has this gone? Strange. Let me see where this has gone,
Not
Matt.
called laser, is it?
No.
Okay. Somebody were talking about telling me that they use this thing that actually it's used in a police ambulance in ambulances and
Right.
it's like a
Can
laser.
you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
So Nova 4, they make a red light bed as well, which you've been on at my place.
I did, yeah.
Same thing. You need to go on it and on it and on it. Anyway, but these red light modulation, it's amazing. I mean, I've had people come in with like a good friend of mine from the village. She's a family friend from years back. She went to the opticians with. She had floaters in her eyes.
What's that?
And it was inflammation behind the eyeball. Yeah.
Floaters.
Yeah, but it was exactly. It's like migraine. Do you know things going up and down your eyes? It's an horrible, like these matrix things going up and down your eyes. It's a bit like that. I've had them myself when I was ill. But you could put the red light on your eye, not the laser, but the red light on your eye for about 2 minutes, and it takes all the inflammation down from the back of the eye. So if you went for an eye test, you know when they take pictures of your eyes, they'd look totally. If they had one of those there, they'd look totally different. Yeah. Anyway, the floaters went. Within one session, they're gone.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, this is the equipment that I use. I've actually been trained on this. I'm certified to use this. Actually, it's one of the only pieces of equipment that I went on the course and I've got a certification to use it.
Wow.
But you can also use it for veterinary. Obviously, see the pets and equine stuff there as well. But for inflammation, my youngest plays cricket and he's just done his shoulder bowling, and he's been on it all for the last 3 or 4 days. He can treat himself. I've shown him how to use it himself. But yeah,
interesting.
So that's what there's so many things, man, that people can use to and tap into. Yeah, some of it costs money, some of it's free, some of it costs a bit of money. You've got to go with what your pocket can afford. Sadly, it'd be nice to have people treating you every day and cooking your dinners and stuff like that. But let me stop screen sharing. There we go.
The most dangerous thing that you could ever say is, and if it's true that you've cured somebody of cancer, and one of your people have just said something, it is the most dangerous thing, and you will be attacked. There will be people after you from everywhere.
Look what's happening to Kate Shiramani at the moment.
Yeah.
You can never say that.
Not just Kate. I mean, like, you look down over the past 20 years when I first started, I saw the attack on people when they were using, there were so many variations.
Yeah, let's not mention them, but yeah, you're right. Yeah,
so many variations, and it's a bit like truthers, really. People, getting attacked like rich net planner and and so on. You will be attacked by the system.
People have gone missing, mate. People have literally been knocked off because they've found stuff that work on people, and the establishment do not want people to know this. And yeah, it's a dangerous world out there, isn't it? But we were talking before we come on. Let's just shift the subject anyway.
Am I able to just one thing before we go, just to share this with everybody, if you don't mind, just one thing.
I don't mind at all, mate.
Hang on. Okay, if you just listen to it. Listen, I think it's I don't want to make a mistake. I want to get the right thing.
Everyone thinks the future is about innovation, AI, smart cities,
can you hear it?
Green energy, but that's the cover story. The real future is about reducing the human surplus without a single bullet fired. And the system that is being built makes it look like progress. In the old world, humans were assets. More people meant more labor, more soldiers, more taxpayers. But technology flipped the equation. When automation does the work, people become liabilities. They consume resources and they produce nothing. From a corporate state perspective, they are dead weight on the balance sheet. Now, what happens to liabilities in any system? They are minimized, quietly, efficiently. You don't announce population reduction. You don't draft policies that say, time to eliminate 800 million people. You design the environment so people self-select out of life. First, you control food economics. Make real nutrition a luxury. Flood markets with synthetic hyper-processed calories. Why? Cheap to make, addictive to consume, and lethal over time. Obesity, diabetes, cancers. It's slow-motion euthanasia disguised as personal choice. And then you privatize survival systems. Hospitals, medicine, insurance. Turn health into a product, and when the bill comes and you can't pay, nature takes its course. No violence, no fingerprints. Meanwhile, you flood culture with distractions. War headlines, influencer drama, ideological cage matches, so no one notices the algorithm that decides who thrives and who quietly disappears. People think they are arguing politics, but in reality, they are debating inside the zoo enclosure, while the zookeeper holds the keys to their lifespan. This isn't genocide. It is market-driven selection, a corporate Darwinism where the unprofitable simply phase out. And the punchline, they don't kill you. They invoice you until you die. This is the most profitable extinction in human history. And it's happening in slow motion while everyone thinks they are free.
Well said.
Probably one of the best things I've heard this year, put into
very concisely.
Yes.
And what I would say is, just to wrap that up, is I always say to people, don't make it too easy for these bastards. Don't make it too easy by having 10 sugars in your tea.
What do? They walk straight to the supermarket. They buy off Amazon from corporate companies. They make it easy for them.
Make it too easy. Far too easy. Right, okay. Let's shift tack a little bit. So that's roughly, we're going to be doing more of that, I think, the health side of it. It just takes us in a slightly different direction, looking for answers. Some great points here, by the way, in the chat that I'm noticing. Just going too quick, I can't keep up with it.
Right.
Is it for you as well, Mark?
When I start to read some, it just goes dum. So it's a little bit like that. And but I saw one person who mentioned something that I saw it, and what I'm looking at now is order out of chaos. It certainly is, and every single thing that's happening outside there is a lie.
The slogan I'm going to be using is "It's your life, own it."
Yeah.
And as opposed to like he said, become a corporate guinea pig or vessel that you're going to get invoiced for. Basically, I like what he said that. Right, we were talking earlier. You've got another strike on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I have been giving you a bit of a ticking off about not using that one YouTube channel. Slap your wrist. I was saying the other day we had when I saw you, we had Gareth Icon 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I sent an email out. Normal like MailChimp email that we use to send emails out, and it never got there. It was banned before it was sent, and all it had on was Gareth Ike and Iconic's email website,
which tells you everything.
Mm.
There's the darkness that is hunting for anybody who dares step out of the matrix, who dares try to, shine a light on darkness. And some people will say that the Ikes are gatekeepers and all that, but you know what? If you're banned from, so many countries, I mean, you could say that's a lie, but what about all the places that he was about to give a talk and then it was shut down? I mean, there's, for me, you're like, oh, David, he talks about reptiles. Listen, Jordan Maxwell talks about reptiles. Jim Mars talked about reptiles. All the greats.
Yeah, your mic's gone a bit quiet, Mark, I think.
Okay, is that any better?
That's a lot better, yes. Yeah, it went a bit quiet for some reason.
Yeah, I moved it down. I moved it up. Anyway, so the point being is that all of these things that David talks about is talked about in history, talked about in the old texts. It's talked about by the Mayans and by, every single, native tribe.
The thing I would say is, right,
like, come on, guys.
No matter what, somebody emailed in actually and said, we had a few emails after Gareth had been on, and I found him. I found him a really nice bloke, to be honest with you. He never said anything that sort of
you didn't agree with.
Exactly. So whatever the operation is, if it's an operation, I can't work it. I've never seen anything that said to me.
No, what it is people are just paranoid about everything now.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing the wrong color, God forbid you dare wear red shoes, you're in trouble, pal. Yeah. You're in deep trouble. If if you're wearing something like this top and he's wearing Ganesh, he's wearing, any of the gods. Oh, well, the gods are at the front of, CERN.
Mm.
Shiva's at the front of CERN. So you must be part of it's getting insane because
it is.
People can't discern between, truth and people who are they say shills or gatekeepers or.
But I mean, the word shill is not true anyway, because we got called. Somebody came up with a great new name for me and Chris. I think Chris is designing a T-shirt on the back of it. Shill Farm.
Shill Farm, brilliant.
I love it. Yeah. So I said to Chris on Saturday, I said, so if we stop doing this podcast, that'd mean we wouldn't be shills then.
Yeah, exactly.
So
no, you'd still be a shill.
All right.
No, it doesn't matter what, you'd still be a shill. Even if you got a small mic and it was the size of this, you'd still be a little shill mic.
Yeah, not the big shill mics.
No, you'll be little shills now.
Yeah, bullshit platform on Shill Farm. Fantastic.
Yeah. And you'll always get it. And, then you've got this set of people who say, these people are bots. These are highly professionals that are targeting us. Well, you're just as bad, because they're not. There's just plonkers out there. Mm. There's just plonkers out there. Bottom line, there's people who are knobs. Just look at the comments on any social media platforms.
Not that comment,
there's
Williams.
A lot of knobs out there.
Karamak, that's my name. I like that.
You used to be called Karamak.
That was my nickname, wasn't it? Karamak. Yeah.
It was, yeah. Somebody was asking me because I'd mentioned, did I mention you on? Anyway, I mentioned when I was younger, I split up from my wife and then I started going clubbing because I was a dancer. So I used to do robot dancing. So I went to all the clubs. I knew all the clubs. And then Andrew Downey took me to a place called Hard Times, and it was basically a church.
Yeah, it was.
Right. And Hard Times was like something brand new. It was when it first started coming out. So it was kind of like, was it 90s. It was around about 89, 90, 91, 92. Anyway, we went to this nightclub called Hard Times, and my mate Andrew says, have one. And I said, I told him to F off. I said I wasn't into drugs. I was really anti-drugs and all that. Go on, have one. Go on, have and half. And then I had half, and then I just started going clubbing, and I just loved clubbing. And all what happened is we were all just kissing each other and hugging each other, and
you didn't kiss me.
I fell in love with the microphone because the frequency and the music.
No, that was a big chill microphone. That.
Yeah, it was. So I went to dance. I was a weekend dancer. I used to love dancing. So that's what we did. But somebody were mentioning, I knew you must have gone to Hard Times. But did you do that? Did you ever go to Hard Times?
I never. Do you know what? I never went to Hard Times. I was always there.
I said I didn't.
Yeah.
I said to him, I don't think you were a Hard Times person.
No, I wasn't. No.
I went to.
It was in Murfield originally.
Back to basic. Oh yeah, it started in Murfield, right?
Yeah.
Back to basics. Niche, all of those clubs that we went to. We all tried that all out, just like they did in the 70s and in the 60s. They were all psyops, and they were all to do with pushing drugs to see how them drugs would work, right?
Me, Mark, and Chris, and a lad, a mate of mine, Matt Sergio, who was a DJ. We did 4 episodes on the second summer of love, and the same script was written then as it is now. A lot of the protagonists in there weren't necessarily part of an establishment, and they don't really know that they're being used. I mean, where did all these drugs come from originally? They came from Merck. MDMA was invented by Merck.
If you watch the original video to that, it was done by a chemist. And the chemist, I remember watching the video, the chemist in his own home created MDMA. He brought his friends round who were all in their 40s, 50s. They all sat down, they all had a meal, and he gave them all some of this. They all took it and they all had a good time. Apparently that's how it started.
Yeah.
I watched the video about it.
MDMA was invented in the 1800s by Merck, our favourite pharmaceutical company.
There you go.
And it's a known fact, these things have been used, haven't they? Anyway, I don't know where we got into that conversation.
No, but I mean, it is interesting, and I actually like to be able to be open and tell you about my past and what I went through as a dancer, and I've done crazy things in my life.
I'll tell you one thing, Mike.
That doesn't mean I'm a bad person, though, Dom. And somebody who's a DJs and doesn't even realize that he was part of something that was. Yeah. So my point is, you can go overboard with anything and become so conspiratorially. I don't know what the word is.
Going to the darkness.
Paranoid. Yeah. It's like, he's because of the. I'm like, maybe he just fell into it. I fell into MDMA. Fell into it. There was no conspiracy. I
fell into a lot of it.
Well, I was extremely careful. I don't advise anybody to take anything now because I realize, and I'm going to tell you this as a fact, I used to go home on a night afterwards, and I knew there were dark spirits in my room, and it wasn't drugs. And I was literally fighting with demonic energies. And
again,
that was
I think
one of the bad sides of drugs.
They knew when they released this stuff in, everybody were going to react different. There were going to be people that were that it affected with bad paranoia. I had a friend who was bad paranoia. You had people around you who suffered with paranoia. Other people, it opened their mind. I'd probably say that was probably me. It opened me up a lot more. Other people, they took it and left it. Just like anything, supplements, treatments, what we were talking about, crystals, whatever it is. Some things work for some things work differently for others. And they knew this when they put it out there. I was having a conversation with a chap that comes into the clinic, and he says, "What podcast you been doing?" I think he listens to a few stuff we do. This was about 3 years ago. And I said, we've just done a series with Mark Devlin about how the second Summer of Love was orchestrated, just like the first Summer of Love. Now, this guy's in his 70s. He said, first Summer 60s wasn't orchestrated. That's nonsense, that blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Right. I said, anyway, I told him about what happened in Ashbury and all this type of stuff with LSD. And I could see penny dropping. He went, "No, that's weird." He says, because in 1968, I think he said he was 18, I went on an hippie trail to Ibiza.
Wow.
So he were on a hippie trail to Ibiza, and we said
Yeah.
we were in this bar, right? And this guy walked in, right, in a white suit with a white fedora on, right, with a briefcase. He opened it up and started handing trips around, and we found out we're from British Embassy.
So there you go.
It dawned on him. It dawned on him.
His own question. It's
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, and he said we thought he were actually gay and hitting on us, but he wasn't. He kept coming back night after night, dropping these trips here, and we were dropping them with him because we were obviously into it all.
And he was studying, he was watching the reactions, he was seeing what it was doing.
Yes.
It's just an MK Ultra. It's just another part of the arm of this dark entity that rules this world and manipulates us.
Yeah. I've got a great video, actually. I'm going to upload it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is an amazing story, Dom.
And do you know why that's amazing? Because it was so innocent. Yeah. He obviously didn't... He didn't know that what he'd experienced was part of it until I obviously explained to him. But yeah, I'll load this video up here now. Just play this. It's about dark entities, but it's about bloodlines as well, and how a lot of these celebrities are all interrelated, which a lot of my work obviously is about. Before we play that though, going back to that MailChimp thing, what I found was when they banned that email, they banned it, and it was just like a YouTube strike. That's why I wanted to talk about it. So what they did was they actually said that I'd violated some sort of rule that I didn't even know existed. And when I emailed them, they couldn't tell me what I'd violated. All these words they were using, violation and all this type of stuff, community guideline type thing. And I don't even know what there were no explanation as to why it was done. Then on Monday I got an email saying, "Oh, everything's all right. We've checked it and there's nothing wrong." No explanation, no apology, nothing. Not as it cocked your business. Fortunately, it's not a business. It didn't really affect us. But imagine if that were a business that relied on sending that email out to get business in.
I used to generate around about €3,000 a month. I used to give away round about 200 to 300 crystals a month because of the money I used to get from YouTube. And people, I mean, it was a wonderful time. And then as soon as I started talking about what was happening 5 years ago, saying I think something's going to be very wrong, I don't, please God, please don't do anything, just wait. They said we're no longer going to let you monetize, just because I started saying I felt there was something wrong, and I didn't know what it was, but I read my cards, I could feel it in my stomach, and I was saying this isn't going to end well, guys. Please, I don't think you're going to be sick. You're going to be fine. If you are, you'll be all right in a few days. Just please don't do it. Then they said, sorry, nobody wants to monetize you anymore. Nobody likes what you're saying, and that was it. I lost.
You've got no choice. You've got no choice in these things. They just turn you off. Computer says no, which again could be a predictive programming part of BBC putting that out there. Computer says no. Turn you off at their liking, even though you're paying a rental for it. They think you're paying reimbursement or anything like that. You're paying a monthly rental that can just switch you off. Close your business. PayPal did it with two businesses of mine. Just turned it off. They weren't illegal businesses. There weren't anything. PayPal did it. They turned the members side off when we set the members up. Did PayPal? Now they're begging for people's money.
My company does quite well, so they've never bothered with me. I think because we do so well, they don't touch me.
Well, I don't think it matters. It's not an issue of you doing so well. I don't think that's the point. I think it's the type of things you're selling that probably isn't on their radar.
Right. Okay, yeah. I get what you're saying. But I help Rich Allen radio show. They took him off straight away, and I was telling everybody I was supporting the Rich Allen radio show. And Richie said, maybe you shouldn't say that anymore because they might take you off. And I said, I don't think so. I think they'll lose a lot of money if they take me off. They'll lose a lot of business.
But it's not about, again, that thing that happened in 2020 was the first time they closed things down and refused business to people. Whether it were going into a tea shop, whatever it was, they stopped all business.
Fair enough.
But anyway, that's another story. I'll play this video just as a interlude if it's loaded up. A bit similar to your video you played. Remember we played that one of John Carter that you did?
Yeah.
It's not the same video, but
No.
it's like a load of clips put together.
Oh, nice.
You're related to Angelina Jolie. You're also cousins with Madonna.
That's true.
So, and I'm related to Madonna and Halle Berry.
Related, in fact, to Abraham Lincoln. Your family is that true?
Nancy Hanks was Abraham Lincoln's mother. So, yeah.
Barack Obama and Sarah Palin are cousins, back to one Mr. Smith of the 1600s.
Like related, for real?
Yes.
What's the connect?
We're second or third cousins. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
You are related to Fred Rogers.
Impossible. No, you're pulling our leg.
All right.
Let's look at that.
How far away is it?
Wait, look at it.
I know, yeah, I'm never.
Oprah tried to say that you two are somehow, some way related.
Yeah, she said she actually researched it and found it to be true.
And that's so.
Some kind of Presley with a Winfrey hooked up somewhere along the line in the South. You know how it goes.
Cousin Oprah.
That's right.
And that President Obama is related to all but one U.S. president.
Well, Dan, the youngster spent the summer tracing the family tree of our presidents. Her conclusion that all the presidents, with the exception of one, share the same grandfather.
That President Obama and all the presidents before him, with the exception of one, are related and descendants of a former king of England.
No, they are all cousins and they're grandsons of John Lackland.
I've got a lot to say about that.
It's all a coincidence, Mark.
No. My point is, I'm looking at this from a different angle. That's just made me kind of realize, you know, there's something that I've been talking about lately, and that is within the spacesuits. In these spacesuits, there are good souls and there are bad souls that come from different parts of this universe. Could it possibly be that the certain bloodlines are always going to have these bad souls inside them, those that feed from children that cause the greatest pain and suffering? Could it be that all of these presidents are of a certain bloodline, which automatically means that those that come from a different part of this universe, which is, say, a darker place, end up in these bodysuits, and those that come from the spirit world, those good souls, kind souls that have the blood and the bloodlines who are filled with kind and love and caring and helping and sharing, we come into those bodysuits. So maybe there might be something to that.
Well, I think it's not. Yeah, I think it's not just about the bloodlines. I think they're a clue. It's not. Again, I mentioned in one podcast with Mike Williams that Annie Lennox has a aristocratic bloodline, and somebody put a comment on saying, "I knew she were a wrong 'un," and I never said that. I just said she had a bloodline. Just because you follow a bloodline back doesn't mean to say there's lots of history.
What's a wrong one anyway? What's a wrong one?
I don't know what that means, mate. Obviously, it was someone else that said it, but
yeah.
What I mean by that is, in history, there are people, when you go back through their genealogy, you see people that are all on side with, the royal family, but you also see some that have rebelled against them and end up in the Tower of London with their heads cut off because they didn't agree with the king or the queen at that particular moment in time. So there are rebels within that bloodline as well. It's not, they don't all kiss ass.
No, I totally agree with you. But you know, there might be something in it. There might not. I mean, I've met people who have got one brother who's a psychopath and another brother who's as loving and kind as caring.
Yeah, exactly.
So my point isn't that, but there could be something related to the fact that why is it that all of these are all interconnected in some way? It's just a question.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a question, but it's an important question because why are all these people interrelated? You could say there's a lot of other people probably related to them, but that's a very small section of the world in Hollywood, for instance, and all of them are related. Now, that doesn't make that, and given what you've just said, and it could be some outside influence that puts these people, or it could be biological AI, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, who chooses the bodysuit? That would be my question asking the spirit world, and I've asked this many times. Who chooses? Who chooses the family they go into? is it possible to choose the family, or is it that you can only go into a certain bodysuit and a certain family, but you can't go into that bodysuit because it does not align to the bodysuit? The spirit that comes in, which is dark energy, aligns to that body, but you can't put anything else into that body. You can't put a light into that body. I don't know. I'm just asking the question. But
yeah, I know you are. Yeah,
it's kind of, for me, it's an interesting question that needs to be asked, because you would ask yourself, let's get all the pedophiles together, right? Let's find out what was going on with all these pedophiles. Now, you'll get psychologists saying, oh, well, it was because they were children and they were raped and this, that, and other. I dismiss all of that. What's really happening inside? What is inside that body? What spirit is inside there, which is connected to all these other spirits? How do they know that they're all pedophiles? Because they do. They all know that they're pedophiles. They can feel it within each other. Just like I can feel a good person and a bad person.
What do gay people call it? A gaydar. A gaydar.
Exactly my point. But they don't always get it right, because
no, I'm not saying they do.
I've had it loads of times. Guys come up to me saying I'm gay. I'm like, I'm not gay, but my boyfriend is. But you know what I mean? I just said, no, actually, I wouldn't even think about it. And I couldn't think about having anything done. You touching me there, like, I'm sorry. It doesn't enter into my thought process. Not there's you do whatever you want, but no, never, ever. So like, you got that wrong, pal. I'm not. But maybe he wanted me to be. Maybe he's trying to turn me into. Yes. Because that happened a lot as well to me. Oh, you're gay, gosh you are. And I'd sit with them, I'd laugh. I said, I'm not gay. Shut the go. I'm not gay. But I had gay friends. I used to go to the gay village, but I wasn't gay. I just knew that I wouldn't get punched in the face. I might get scratched in the eyes.
But Ashley put a comment here, which, I mean, I've covered Sherry Booth in, I think it was Assassin's Creed, a presentation I did, who was the great-great-granddaughter of John Wilkes Booth, who shot President Lincoln. And Assassin's Creed, we did, a lot of these famous people aren't just related to the royal family. A lot of them were related to serial killers and assassins.
So there's something in it then?
Right, there is, mate, yeah.
There's got to be something in more than, oh, it's just a family. It's just coincidence that these are, because some people will take the argument, well, you can put everybody together on a chart like that. You can go back far enough that you'll find anything. That's what I hear all the time. Yeah, you might do, but I mean, there is a massive coincidence happening here all the time. Yes. And I don't believe in coincidences when it gets to that kind of state.
Well, another supposed coincidence. Eminem, and I mentioned this before on the podcast, Eminem's bloodline goes back to a person that passed the law. It was called Increased Mathers. They added the S at a later date. Increased Mather. He passed the law. He was a Puritan preacher, and he was one of the people that set Harvard up as well. So he's a Puritan teacher and preacher, and he passed the law to burn witches at the stake in Salem. Right, he was one of the lead people to burn witches at the stake.
Yeah, when you say, just clarify that. What do you mean by witches?
Well, supposed witches.
Yeah. You're talking about healers.
Yeah, well, whatever. Right, I agree with you there. I'm not calling them witches.
Yeah.
They're their words, right? Yeah. They're their words, right? Yeah, I'm not calling them witches. Well, I am, but only their words.
I know what you're saying. Just right. So that crowd understand.
Yeah. So he passed the law, and then whatever 250 years on, Eminem's writing a song where he's nicknamed his trailer park Salem's Lot. Now, some would say that's a coincidence. I find that a bit hard to believe that he's calling that a coincidence. There's two things. One, the less intriguing one is that he actually knows his family history, right? Yeah. The most intriguing one is that he doesn't, and it's just happened because it's in his programming.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, you've got to come to a point where why would you even say that? I mean, yes. What reason would you say that for?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, that's how I see it anyway. Like, there's too much coincidence, and you know, everything that you watch on TV, all the stars now, all Hollywood is being exposed just about. and like, you know, but they're not even bothered now. I've noticed that darkness is becoming more and more confident and stronger, and they're just doing this now. We don't care. And we're seeing more and more evil.
How true this is, I don't know, but there's an ancient aristocratic house called the House of Anjou from France, right? A lot of these people are related into this royal bloodline, that the Plantagenet family came from it and what have you, royal Plantagenet, that ruled Britain for hundreds of years. And it's
Merovingians as well, no?
Yeah, that follows that line. But now, but that line is meant to come from Satan's daughter. That is, now, obviously, it's called a, whatever you want to call it, a old wives' tale, a rumour, whatever you want to call it, these things. But that is definitely there. If you look the House of Anjou, Anjou, up and put Satan's daughter, it'll come up with that there is a link to supposed whoever Satan was. But it doesn't matter who Satan was. He might have been a psychopath. It doesn't have to be a religious figure.
Or it could have been just a religious belief.
Or a belief, yeah. But it's a spell,
you look
isn't
back at the Mayans, you look at the temples where, you know, you've got the blood sacrifice of babies and the blood runs down. You saw it on the films like Indiana Jones. All of that is stemmed from truth.
Yes.
And you know, blood rituals happen to this day, every hour of the day. So we know that what you're talking about is totally relevant to what happens 100 years ago to 10,000 years ago. But I think it's always been here. Darkness has always been in this world.
But what we're actually seeing by looking back like that, if we then put it forward, right?
Yeah.
So I'll use Eminem as a prime example again. Eminem's great-great-great-great-grandfather burns witches at Salem. Now he's one of the most famous rappers, influencing people. Yeah. So his granddad was a preacher, and you would say Eminem was a modern-style preacher doing what he's doing, influencing a generation to do certain things.
Yeah. No, I mean, coincidence for me, you know, I don't want to get too much paranoid into it, but I do believe that there's a lot to talk about and a lot of things that are hidden and a lot of things that are not talked about at all. But it's coming out more and more. Fair comment to so many people out there who are doing research now. You know, they're all breaking the mold of don't talk about this, don't talk about that. So there is more darkness revealing itself, but there's also a lot of light people, good people exposing it as well at the same time. So I think this is a massive shift right now. I think that it really is a massive shift. And I was talking about this, Dom, the other day. I don't know if you saw that video of the guy who they asked him what is the plan, and he said he talked about microwaves and tin foil. Did you watch it?
No.
So basically, this guy, I don't know who he is, but he was interviewed, and they asked him what is the end game? What's the end game? What is it all about? And he says, well, I don't want to go into too much detail, but you imagine that there's a switch and they switch the switch on, and you imagine a microwave oven and tin foil in that microwave oven. Imagine that's what happens inside your body when this is switched on. And it's exactly what I said 5 years ago. And when I saw it, I'm like, I had to share it with everybody. I said this 5 years ago. So what was put up 4 years ago all over the world by their millions and millions. Yeah, just got a few guys putting these up. Got John down the road putting these things up, you know. I believe that they were put up in another way. I believe that there's no way they could have put so many millions upon millions upon millions in every part of this world, 500 yards, and we wouldn't see them doing it. I'm sorry, guys.
I drove through my village. It's Outland, my old village. And there's one there now, across from the park where the kids play.
How did it get put up? Somebody put it up.
I tell you what,
maybe somebody did put it up, but I'm saying that
I haven't driven there for 2 weeks.
Right. Well,
Things
I'm
gonna-
sorry, but it doesn't take 2 weeks to.
No, I know it doesn't. But
I've seen. No. I'm
go up
just
overnight,
saying.
don't they?
What? But how? Are you trying to see something being built up overnight?
Yeah.
You just see them building a like any. It takes them weeks. You have to put foundations. You've got to do so much. You've got to get the electricity, and you've got to build the. I mean, come on. I think there's more to it. But again, I'm sounding OTT here. But when we were all locked up, we walked out of that door, and they were everywhere. And
They were everywhere. Yeah, you're right.
Hang on a minute. I thought we were all locked up. Were we all locked up? And how many? I asked ChatGPT a while ago, how many people would it have taken to put up? I first of all asked how many Eye of Sauron was put up. How many of these towers were put up? And it told me there were like billions. Right? How long would it take to put them up? If they were to do it in a day, or how long does it take to put one up? How many would it take then to do? How many people would it take? Just the numbers don't add up. Makes no sense. You just do a bit of homework, do it yourself, and have a look. Impossible. You would need literally millions and millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
No.
Anyway, that's just my observation, and it's too wild for most people to even think about because they're wanting to know what's for tea tonight.
Yeah.
Chips. We're having chips tonight. Having chips tonight, love.
Definitely have chips. I don't eat chips. Don't eat potatoes. Don't eat potatoes. But anyway, there you go. That's another thing. Don't agree with me. Should we call it a day there, mate?
Yeah, it's cool. Been great. Really enjoyed it. I mean, we always go off on one different directions. And
I think we should. Yeah.
I'm sorry if it throws
Don't
people
apologise,
all over the place. But I enjoy these chats, Dom. Really enjoy it. And just as a final note to everybody listening, hand on heart, I do feel, I honestly feel that there is, I mean, it is dark at the moment. There's a lot against us. But I think that our spirit, ultimately, no matter how bad we feel, our spirit always lifts us up. And there's always, I believe, our home world helping us every day. So there is darkness. It's always trying to attack us. But I also think we mustn't ever forget that we are loved and protected. And we've got to listen to our consciousness and not AI and scrolling. And we've got to stop listening to the brain. The brain has been programmed, and your brain isn't your friend most of the time. So start to listen to your consciousness, your spirit, and you'll find that you'll feel better, and your body will react and feel stronger in the end. That's what I'm pushing at the moment. That's it.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Well, I'd say don't take it. I know it's difficult. Try not to take it too seriously. I know that's a hard one to put into practice sometimes, but when you do a lot of dark research, I'd end up on some bridge somewhere if I throw myself into this research and I'm away for months doing this stuff. And you've got to keep it light. Otherwise, I don't know, you wouldn't survive. You've got to find ways of, like we were talking at the beginning, from a health perspective, that puts you in a better place. Don't make it easy for these people. We have got, just because somebody controls everything doesn't mean to say they have to control every aspect of your life. There are parts of it you can control. And again, it comes back the Donald Rumsfeld thing, the known knowns and the unknown knowns. That you've got to control the known knowns. If you can control them, generally, we stand a better chance of getting through this shit. If you're just giving it up and drinking 10 litres of Coca-Cola every day and whatever, then you're making it too easy.
Absolutely, completely agree with you, Dom. Completely agree with you. So you've got to start, checking in on yourself and asking yourself every single thing that you do, whether it's your thoughts, whether it's your actions, or whether it's what you're putting into your mouth.
Yeah.
And what you're not putting into your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. But I look at stuff now and think I'm better off not eating it if I don't know what it is, type of thing.
Because your body's going to feel better because you're more in better mode when you're not eating, because your body's healing when you're not eating. I believe you're giving your body a rest sometimes.
Williams has put here resist digital ID. I have to say this is already here. We're already digital ID'd whether we like it or not. It's not. That's not me being negative, Williams. That's me thinking they've been utilising this software for a long time. And now that, and like David Icke always says, that totalitarian tiptoe. And I don't watch much David Icke, but that makes sense to me. So whether that's a psyop, which I don't see how that's a psyop, but anyway, the totalitarian tiptoe where they just keep squeezing you every day, every minute of every day, like they did in 2020. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear a mask, don't. Till you that confused, you don't know whether it's stick or twist. So you just wear it anyway. And that's what people were doing. And that's what people do. If you go abroad now, whether somebody's looking at your passport or in certain places they're reading your eyes, or you've got to stand in front of that door at Manchester Airport, for instance, and them automatic gates open, they're utilising digital IDs whether we like it or not.
Yeah, not just there, but all over your cities.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
they're using it here. They're probably using it on my computer right now.
Yes.
They're certainly selling everything that I am. They're selling everything that you are. They're selling it to anybody who's paying them as. So we're being sold like we have done as slaves from the word go.
Yes.
And it's just becoming more digital.
And that guy that you played earlier on sums it up. We're a negative on a balance sheet now.
Exactly.
And so the people that are negative on the balance sheet are going to disappear, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And some of these people we love, some are part of us family.
Well, they are disappearing right now, Dom.
Right now they are, mate, yeah. Yeah. Hence why the immigration thing's been brought in. We can see why the immigration's happening, to fill in the gaps of what's going to be left of the indigenous populations of where we live. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but they're filling it with men, not families. Whereas the actual Windrush or Asian influx in the 50s and 60s and what have you were families coming over.
Yeah, I think it was genuine back then. Now I think it's a little bit different because they're not families coming in. Therefore, this is a slightly more devious thing.
Or it was a plan that they tried that didn't work properly. So now they realised.
My feeling is this, right? If I'm in a prison, right, and I know I don't want anybody to know I'm in that prison. What I want to do is get everybody fighting each other.
Yes.
And not me. Yeah. So if I'm an elite, I want everybody to fight each other so they kill each other. So I'm left. And that's what I'm seeing now. They're actually waiting. They've created this to now want British people to fight against all of these people so that there's mass chaos. Everybody kills themselves. Great. This is another form of culling.
Yes.
I see straight through this.
Yeah.
But, it's not so nice when you're living in Huddersfield.
Are you telling me that Tommy Robinson's not a guy to follow?
Oh, no, he's wonderful. He's such a wonderful guy. Everybody follow him. Yeah. I mean, what can I say?
What about Nigel Farage? Vote Nigel.
Oh, yeah, vote. Come on, guys. If you don't, then you're an idiot. Like, sorry, guys, but this is always given to us 24/7. We're always given the hero. We're always given the Donald Trump. We're always given a new person like Tommy Robinson. This is all sleight of hand. It's deliberate. It's manipulating. Don't follow nobody. Follow your own truth.
Exactly,
Don't follow anybody.
And likewise, me and Mark, we're talking on here. Anybody could talk on a screen. These are some of the stuff I've researched, so I know it's right. Some of it's our opinions, which can always be altered afterwards. But everything can be changed. I'm not the voice of reason or the voice of knowledge or whatever.
But I am a voice, and I am going to speak my truth. And if I'm wrong, I'll go, okay, let me sit back, let me think about that. Actually, yeah, they're right. And maybe I change my thought process to what's happening, because I do hear people saying, wow, I didn't get that. And how did you attune to that? I've always had this feeling that this is happening. Now I'm like, wow. And you said it, Dom, to me once. We all are right to a certain degree. We just come at it from a different angle. And that's what I'm open to these days.
Yes. And we all need to be open to that because when you think whatever waking up is, we all do it at different stages. Like I was attuned to certain things going on like MK Ultra when I was about 19. I read JFK in the late 80s, 90s books about and came across MK Ultra. What's MK Ultra? COINTELPRO and all these other Mockingbird and things like that. And it fascinated me. But I still weren't attuned to the health side of things. I still weren't attuned to probably the finance side of things or the legal side of things.
Until
so
you pick these up. Until
I got sick. Yeah,
and there's something in that as well, Dom. Right?
Yeah,
like
there is.
I didn't really understand life till I left UK, came here, and didn't have a job and didn't know what to do. And it was at that point was like my moment of being sick, but spiritually.
Yes.
Who the fuck? What am I? What's going? Then I woke up to that. So I think, there is a definite awakening at a certain point in your life for whatever reason it is. But then the argument is, well, were you an NPC then? What were you then? I think we've always had a feeling that something's wrong. There's a difference between an NPC who just does not see anything wrong with anything.
Exactly, yes. And I think if people had that mindset, for instance, if Tommy Robinson was saying, all these immigrants coming in is just wrong, but he's not. He's saying it's all wrong, whether you're Muslim. It's about being a Muslim that's wrong. And I'm not pro-Muslim, by the way. I'm certainly not, because I see errors in any religion. I'm sorry if everyone's religious, but I do. I can't be in a belief system. I struggle with belief systems.
I also think, Dom, that it's religion has been hijacked. So people who are I'm writing a book now about this. I'm trying to put into words something that makes it easy for people to understand. But every form of company, every form of religion, every form of spirituality, there are people in there who are bad souls. They are bad souls. You can't call it religion. Like for me, Catholics, too many priests were pedophiles.
Yeah.
Why there were so many pedophiles in that, but then you can have a club, you can have a scouts. There were so many cubs, pedophiles, teachers, loads of pedophiles. So what I'm saying is that there is good and bad souls in this world, and you've got to recognize who they are. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to find a way that we can recognize these evil souls inside these bodies. And that is the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to put into words and make it easy read and for people to understand this. Plus the fact now, when somebody's read that book, they're going to be paranoid of, is that an evil person inside there? I don't know. So I've got to figure out a way to some kind of way that we recognize that there's a possibility that there are evil. Now, it's easy when you know a pedophile's a pedophile. Now you know that that's a monster. But a lot of these monsters talk, smile, give money to charity.
Yeah,
but they're a monster inside.
Yeah, Tony Blair.
Exactly.
It was willing to stand up on a podium. So look at Netanyahu.
Yeah.
So many. Look at Trump. All these people willing, and I don't think they've got any power. These people, they're front men and front women. But anyway, let's leave it there. We said we were going to sack it. We're just doing another 20 minutes. That's the nature of the beast. Shouldn't say beast, should I?
No beast here, pal.
Okay, thanks everybody for tuning in on one of these Sunday chats. It's gone over a little bit, but there you go. If you wait there, Mark, I'll just play as out with a little bit of Sheep Farm music.
Nice.
I'll see you in a sec.
Be